Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
The radio show that sounds like standing up too fast feels. It's the audience of one show on Conroe's 106.1 and 104.5 FM, streaming on irlonestar.com and available wherever you get your podcasts from. I am Andrew, sitting next to the guy who is attracted to gymnasts who are holding Parmesan cheese. It's Dick. I don't wear cologne. Schisler. Maybe you want to start, just saying.
What do you mean?
Nothing. You smell just fine. I could not get this image of you with a little pea shooter, sitting there like shooting at a jar of jupe and then like cool water and whatever else, firing at it. That is really, really funny, man. I can't believe you blew up or shot at your old cologne bottles.
Yeah, I get bored.
You could have given them to the needy, around here. The homeless could have used.
No one uses cologne. I think it's a small club.
An exclusive club. And you're in the club when you pass by and I think he's in the club.
Well, I think it died when malls died. Because you remember when going to the mall during like a seasonal thing like Father's Day or Christmas, there's always a gigantic display of cologne.
Yeah, got to give me some Hugo Boss.
But it's like a special. That's what people bought cologne. Yeah. But it's like, no one goes to the mall. And so no one thinks, oh, what's an easy gift to give to somebody that I don't really care about? Cologne used to be that gift.
What has it been replaced with?
I don't know. Nothing. No one gives each other gifts.
Oh, it's probably lotto tickets. That's the
true.
one now. Well, hey, I saw a silver alert on the way over here. A black SUV Jeep, by the way. But it got me thinking about the silver alert in general. What if Grandpa was just trying to get away from Grandma? He's just trying to have an afternoon to himself.
Or they got lost.
Yeah, and like the grandkids turned him in, and all of a sudden his license plate is out there for the public. He's like, man, I'm just trying to go have some fun here.
Yeah.
Do you think there's like one central location for all the old people when silver alerts go?
I
have like an old people rave or something.
I think it's kind of funny. But
Sorry, I'm making fun of something. It's not funny. I certainly hope that man is found safe and sound. Or woman, it did not say.
That's kind of weird.
He just said the black SUV with a license plate. But that does bring up another question. I didn't get the alert on my phone, but when you do get those alerts, like for Amber, what are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to like jump and spring into action and run to your window and go inspect or something? Like most people just immediately turn them off. Oh gosh.
Yeah, but I think it's a better than nothing. Because there might be that one moment for 10 seconds you think, oh, I'm looking for a black sedan with this, and you look up, oh, look, there's a black sedan. Oh, look, what are the odds?
I wonder what the success rate is.
Yeah.
The Amber Alert or the Silver Alert.
They're pretty good.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe so. Well, Dick, I'm feeling pretty good about myself, by the way. I rounded up my change to the nearest dollar in my last purchase to help buy school supplies for back-to-school kids. Feeling pretty good about myself right about now.
Good for you.
Yep. So I'd like to think I'm part of the problem, or the solution, not the problem. That's right. Back to school, man.
Well, I pay taxes, so I helped out all those children.
Yeah, I pay taxes too.
Well, you pay for the school.
But I also round up my purchase. I'm part of the solution.
Oh, they got you. You got suckered.
Yeah, I think school will be starting this week here in the Conroe ISD area. It made me think, too, like when we were kids and going back to school, you always got to look at everybody's new school clothes and the new shoes, and you kind of made fun of the kid who had the off-brand shoes. Or if you didn't directly make fun of them, you kind of looked at him sideways.
I never was a part of those conversations.
I wonder if that's still the way it is now, or is it like new tech? Oh, look at that guy. He's got an off-brand Android. They make fun of him.
I don't really know.
Or are the clothes still a status symbol like they were?
I have no idea. I imagine today, since everyone's so connected with social media, you already have all those answers, because back when we were going through school, we didn't talk to anybody besides our friends during the summer. So when you came back, it actually was a fresh, oh, look, there's Susie. She looks different. And, everyone has a good Susie. But I think with social media, you kind of already know what everyone's doing, so you don't really care.
Yeah, that is true. You never really fully disconnect, I guess, with social media. You see people all the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. When we were kids, there'd be a good 3-month period off there where all of a sudden you came back and you're like, something has changed with that young lady.
John grew like 10 feet.
Yeah.
He has a beard.
Right? Got
Why don't I have a beard?
Rick over there is a 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah.
Man. And Susie, hot as ever. The magical Susie.
I mean, everyone has a good Susie.
I don't think I ever knew a Susie.
I don't.
You just made it up?
I just made it up, dude.
Yeah.
Well, did you have a good weekend?
Yeah, I did, man. I didn't do much. Barbecued and kind of hung out in the backyard and did some yard work, you know?
Okay.
Not much. Not much.
Well, I went to your old. Didn't you go to St. Marcus, Texas State?
I did, yes.
Yeah, so I actually went on campus this weekend to go floating.
They let you on.
They let me on, and
or in.
it was the funniest thing because the guy who invited us is a pro at floating, and he's like, "Oh, by the way, there's no aluminum cans. You got to put everything in jugs, or
Really?
yeah." And I'm like, and it kind of put a wrench in our system because we didn't think of that, and we're already like loaded up.
And you're aluminum can guy.
And
yeah.
I'm a beer drinker, and I was like, "Oh, we got to figure this out. Like, we have to go to Walmart or something because I'm not gonna have beer."
So did you do the trick where you opened like 4 cans of beer at once and poured it into like the igloo cooler?
Yeah, that's what we ended up doing. But what the greatest thing is, we spent about an hour and a half delaying preparing. We get on the river within seconds. Everyone I see around me has aluminum cans.
I thought you said you went with a pro. This guy didn't know what he was talking about.
Well, no, it's a rule.
Oh, just no one cared.
No one cared. And to the
Interesting.
point where there's even people picking up trash. They had like little boats that people could throw their trash in.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
I guess they figure it's easier to pick up the trash and then force the actual rule itself, huh?
I don't know, but I was very disappointed in that because I was like, man, I could have brought so many more beers.
Yeah.
And really had a good time, but I was like, could have 6.
Could only have 6.
Well,
huh?
if you're floating for hours, it's
This
like,
is true. How was it, man? I hadn't been down there in quite some time.
it was chaos.
But I have been on that San Marcos River, I'm assuming, is where you went.
Yeah.
I've been on that river many a time.
It was chaotic.
It's always chaotic, especially this time of year.
Yeah.
School is about to be back in, so I imagine there's a lot of kids coming back in, and you have a lot of locals that hang out there.
Oh, yeah. What was great was that we got to the very end, and it literally started raining.
Oh, perfect.
And it poured for 15 minutes.
Did you even get out, or you just stay in there because you're already wet?
Well, we're waiting. Like, we're literally taking the tubes out, and we hear thunder. I'm like, really? I didn't think it was going to.
Perfect timing.
And then we had to wait in the rain for the bus. I'm like, this is great.
Wow.
But other than that, it was
Cool, man.
It was a cool little trip.
I'm glad that you got away and you came back safe.
Yeah.
Are you sad that the Olympics are over? This will be our last week to do an Olympic update.
I don't care.
Well, I know you set your calendar to watch
Breaking.
BreakDancing.
Oh, that's right. We can talk about that, dude. That was hilariously terrible.
You
but
know,
at the same time, very interesting for I would say the level between the contestants, because like if you watch the Gold's men, some of that stuff looks pretty crazy.
Correct.
And like some of the ladies, really crazy.
Correct.
But then some of the people were like,
some of them looked like, I think I posted this on our social media page, Facebook. Some of them just looked like your aunt that had really hit the Chardonnay pretty hard at a wedding.
yes.
It's really all it was.
Having fun.
The Australian Rachel
That was
Gunn,
great.
Ray Gunn as they call her, getting 0 points for her routine. 0. They didn't even throw her a bone.
Yeah.
0 points in all 3 of her dances. I love it. And the thing is, it's not like she was really, really bad. It's just the moves she was doing were really, really simple. There was nothing really complex about it. And I'm like, I guess she's got rhythm to an extent, and certainly I couldn't do that.
Well,
But when you compare it to the gold medal men's, there's night and day different, you know?
some of the ladies too.
And you're right, sure, of course.
I mean, again, I don't really get it. I'm glad that they're not doing it again. They already announced
They made the decision during the event, by the way.
Yeah.
I think the reception to the breaking was so poor that the decision was made before the event was even over that they're not doing it in 2028.
And then they're doing baseball.
They're going to
So
replace
that's
it with
pretty cool.
Frisbee. I don't know.
Juggling.
You're right.
No, I mean, I guess.
I think part of the problem is you and I don't break dance. I know, shocker, we don't break dance. So we probably can't really relate to what they're doing, that even something that's simple to what our eyes is, might actually be fairly difficult to do. You know, we're sort of like, well, that pop and lock was nothing, when in actuality, there may have been some skill that we just don't know, because I don't know a damn thing about breakdancing.
Yeah.
That's part of the problem. The general public just doesn't know. I do, to the naked eye, though, I think I've seen better breakdancing outside the gas station before, though, to be honest with you.
You know, meth hits and dancing.
Right.
But no, again, it's probably something they wanted to try, and they tried, and no one really fully understood it. And unfortunately for the announcers, they couldn't really explain it in great detail, because I didn't understand why they faced off, because that really didn't do anything. I was waiting for them to start fighting.
Yeah, it would have been more fun if you threw a punch or something.
Like one guy kept showing his abs.
Yeah, it's intimidating.
I was like,
abs.
what's going on right now? Like, I didn't understand that's that part of the performance.
I think so. I think that's what it is, because it's technically like a challenge, I guess. And so one guy kind of walks around and looks at him like, what you got? What you got? While the other person dances, and then they flip it around. Yeah. Oh, man. Well, it was an interesting experiment, to say the least. I had someone ask me the other day if technically Simone Biles and even a lot of the gymnasts are dwarfs. Because I think the technical definition of a dwarf is someone who's under 4'10", and Simone Biles is like 4'8". And I thought that's a really dumb question, because clearly she's not. Because just because you're under that height doesn't necessarily mean you're automatically a dwarf, right? There are other things that go along with it.
Well, ironically, I do know a little bit about this.
I know where you're going with this.
Because I looked it up. And because I used to know somebody that was a small person, and I was like, you need to be, like, you could probably get some benefits. Like, have you not looked this up? And
are you talking about, like, good parking spaces? What are you referring to?
It ranges depending on how short you are. Because, like, a dwarf is, I think there is a threshold.
Yes, I think it's 4'10". But again, just because you're under doesn't mean you're automatically a dwarf. And by the way, I know dwarf is like the accepted term, but I hate saying it. It makes me feel uncomfortable. It kind of seems like something out of Middle-earth, right? A little mystical, magical.
Well, it's weird.
I feel like we need to come up with another word.
Cause it's weird because, like, the state of Texas has different rules than, like, the ADA has rules.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, this particular person I'm talking about, like, she only qualified for a parking deal forever. She could have a parking deal. And then I think if she was like 4 inches shorter, there could have been financial benefits.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty wild. It was pretty, like, because they have tiers.
I guess so.
And I was just curious because I was like, you know what? I always wondered about this.
Well, I don't believe any of those gymnasts are dwarfs. I think there's other things besides height that go along with it. But
you call them a small person.
Yeah, that's something. A little person, something. I just don't like the word
because you call
dwarf.
a tall person a tall person.
Yeah, I would.
So just call them a small person.
Well, Dick, I have a letter here in my formerly nicotine-stained fingers that I need to read to you, and it is a little concerning. Are you ready? I'm glad you're sitting down here, okay, bud?
Yeah, what is it?
This is from the elders of community radio, and I need to read this to you, so just bear with me for 1 minute. Dearest radio personality, the audience of one show promotes itself as banter between two guys. However, it has come to our attention that one of the hosts has demonstrated tendencies that have alerted the elders to question the identity and gender of the host. Incidences include declaring the desire to be a dainty pretty boy, as well as the lack of owning a chainsaw. We regret to inform you that due to these infractions, Richard Dick Schisler must appear in front of the elders on or before August 31st and will be subject to a radio gender identification test. Failure to comply with this notice will result in the loss of the moniker Dick. We appreciate your compliance in this matter. Signed, the Elders of Community Radio.
How long did it take you to write that?
I didn't write this. This was a letter that look. It's even on official letterhead.
How long did it take you to write that?
I don't know. What are you going to do about this? You're going to appear in court and prove your gender?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Going to whip it out?
Yeah, I don't mind.
We got to keep doing the show, man. Do it for the show. Do it for the show.
I mean, I'm who I am. So if you want to look, go for it. That's what you get.
Well, obviously the elders are concerned here.
I'll make sure to eat a big meal right beforehand so I can just pop a squat right in front of the elders.
Man.
Let me tell you anything about it.
All right, man. I put something in the run sheet here. Speaking of that, I want you to play the audio, and you're going to have to probably pick up the audio
I'm gonna try.
a little bit. because it's kind of funny, but this will probably be one of our last Olympic updates.
All right. You
But,
ready?
Yes, go
All
ahead.
right, let me see.
You can tell it was a huge start. So much power.
What?
Maybe.
You can tell it was a huge start. So much power.
So apparently,
Huge start?
that's not what she said.
Oh,
no,
shart.
She said She said shart. So this was NBC diving analyst Laura Wilkinson. She kind of tripped over her words the other day
okay.
when she was trying to say a powerful start and instead said a powerful shart. I heard that and went, you got to be kidding me. She said, what? Rewound it, yep. And, of course, I was able to find this on Awful Announcing on the internet.
I like it.
Yes.
Well, hold on. I forgot to tell you, I went through the experience of getting a passport, which is hilarious to me because...
We have a passport-related story in the second half of the show, by the way.
Oh, great. But I wanted to tell you, so you can schedule your stuff online, and you go to... I went to the post office, right?
Uh-huh.
And it was a weird experience because it's in a smaller town. It was in Montgomery, so it's not a lot of people there. That's why I chose it. And right when I walk in, they have like the line kiosk or line thing you have to follow. And there's only like one other person in there. Right when I walk in, I'm not kidding you, right when I open the door, the guy sees me and goes, "You here for your passport?" And I'm like, "Yes, I am." And he goes, "Do you have photocopies of this, and this?" I'm like, "No, I don't." He just did that. And I'm like, what
That
is
was
that?
a boss move right
Yeah,
there.
I was like, how does he even know? Like, how does he know?
Because that's a common mistake, I bet.
Because I brought the actual documents. Because usually when you bring
Yeah,
up,
you need the originals.
You have the originals and you can just photocopy there or
Yeah.
something like that. But like, no, they don't offer that. So I had to leave. And then this is where I wanted to share the story with you. Because I don't know if you've ever experienced overhearing conversations between like a patron and the person who runs the business or anything like that. And some of them
Probably.
can get pretty crazy. So I run over to the copy store, get copies. It was like 30 cents. And right when I walk in, I was like, please don't have a long line. I just want to get this done. Right when I walk in, there was an elderly lady. And she kept going on about these checks. And
Like gender checks?
no, like
what are we talking about?
like a check she mails
physical
to
check.
some place in Ohio.
With a routing number and everything, okay?
And she was complaining to this guy about Ohio Postal Service, about how her checks always arrive.
I've heard about the Ohio Postal Service.
Damaged. And this guy,
Wet.
this poor dude was like, "Ma'am, like, we're not the ones that deliver the mail in Ohio. Like, it's a different unit of the United States." But the way she was talking to him was as if it was him and his lackeys that like. And she's like, "I need this solved," and he's like, "Ma'am, I have no authority over." It went on. I was sitting there.
She had nothing else to do. A woman who is concerned about her checks probably has not a lot going on.
It was
Just going to throw that out there.
The two highlights were she's like, "I just want a solution that makes sure my checks get there undamaged." And he's like, "Well, these are the options." And then he's like, "Really, if you want to do this," I forgot what he called it. But she's like, "Well, how much is that?" He's like, "Well, it's $35 and da-da-da-da." And she's like, "Well, that is just too expensive." And he's like, "Ma'am, I'm just offering that as a solution. Like, that requires the place to sign for it, and it'd be hand-delivered, and it's been noticed, all this kind of stuff. And it's insurance, so if the check gets ruined, blah, blah, blah." This lady was having nothing of it. She's like, "Well, I'm not paying." And this is how...
My beans.
Well, I was waiting for this dude to lose his stuff. And this is what, he bossed me out because he smelt me not having the photocopies.
Right.
He legit goes, "And yeah, okay, ma'am, all you have to do is just put a stamp on it. You can just mail it as it is." Ding! Next. And her face was just like,
I just spent 15 minutes to get ding next.
yeah, and she's like, "Well, I'm back where I started."
Uh-huh. And
And-
there's nothing you can say against a ding next.
Oh, yeah.
Conversation is over. He won. Ding
Yeah,
next.
it was hilarious to me because I've never seen that much like, this isn't going anywhere. I've already tried my best. How do I pleasantly get
what
this
you need?
lady to leave?
You need to go to the Office Depot and get yourself one of those little dingers, right?
Oh,
Little-
yeah. Next.
And next time you're on a date with a girl and she's having a conversation and the story is boring, you just ding next.
I've actually told a woman that one time.
No way. No
It's like,
way,
this isn't
man.
going anywhere. This conversation's a dud. But yeah,
Oh, man.
overall, it was a great experience. And then it was funny because the guy was very helpful when I got out there. Like, he showed me how to fill certain things. He was a very nice guy. But he didn't. He ran a tight ship. He's like, I'm at the post office. Let's get this moving.
Yeah.
And then
he sees a lot of strange people.
And then I had to go in the back to take a photo, and that was really strange.
Why did you have to go to the back?
Because I didn't know. I know I could have printed out my own photo, but the dimensions. I just wanted someone else to take care of it. I don't mind. I wanted to see how it's done. Then I can, in the future, I'll take care of it. But yeah, he's like, you can come back behind this door. I'm like, what door? Like, what are you talking about?
I've seen movies that end this way, man.
Oh, yeah. And I'm literally in the middle of the mail sorter, and there's this little corner with a white backdrop, and he has this old camera, and I'm like, is that even and I even made a comment about.
Sounds like an Al Qaeda video.
Oh, I made a comment about the quality of the photo because it was blurry. And I was like, hey, that's actually really blurry.
Hey, I didn't slick my hair back and look like a criminal to have a blurry picture.
Oh, well, no.
Because you showed me your picture, and just going to say,
I'll pull it up
looks a little criminal. Oh, you're going to show it?
I'm
This is
show
great.
it.
Please show
but no,
the one scene.
The first time he printed it out, and I was sitting there, and I look at it, and I'm like, dude, that's really blurry. Like, I wouldn't allow that. And he goes, you know what? You might be right. That's not very good.
Hey, you won. Ding next.
And
nice.
So we had to go retake it. And I'll pull up. Let's see if I can.
So this is actually the better of the two. Jeez.
Yeah. Let me see if I can zoom in on it.
No. All right.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, I love it. Love it.
Perfect.
So onesies, what you're seeing right now, if you're just listening to us on podcast, is a beautiful passport picture of someone who looks like he may be doing 5 to 7 years at the state pen for, I don't know.
I thought. Well,
I'm gonna be careful. I was going to say something inappropriate.
I went in with this knowing I was going to look like this because when you research it, it says like, oh, you can't smile. Mm-hmm. And
that's a guy doing petty crime. That's all I'm saying.
You can't wear certain things. It's like just be normal. And I'm like, I'm going to look like a criminal or like a redneck.
Yeah, you may or may not have walked out with a couple of cartons of smokes from the Circle K.
But hey, he brought out my eyes really well. Though.
Yeah, you do. Yes, you do have pretty eyes.
Yeah. So
you can see into your soul.
But yeah, overall, the ding next thing, that was such. Oh, another note about that, what I loved is he made a movement towards her to hit the ding, and I think in her mind she goes, "Oh, he's gonna help me and take the envelope," and he just dodges the envelope, ding, right in front. It was solid.
It's kind of like when someone you think they're about to give you a handshake or a high five, you reach out and they're reaching past you. You just kind of quickly brush your hair.
Her face, I felt bad, but then again, that lady didn't listen. But her she kind of turned around, and just was defeated, and she's like, I guess my check's gonna get wet.
That's right, lady. Wet check. Ding next. Let's get this show started, Dick. Were you aware from livescience.com that astronauts could soon ditch their diapers on spacewalks thanks to a new device that lets them drink their own pee? Okay, couple of things here.
Well, I saw it in Waterworld, so it's got to be doable.
Wasn't aware that astronauts wore diapers. I guess I missed that. So they're just letting it go. But I guess it makes sense. It's kind of like the kid in the movie, the Christmas Story, gets all bundled up and then he has to pee. Once you're in that thing, you're kind of in it, I guess.
I have a feeling there might be a documentary about it, but it's not glorious being an astronaut when you're actually in space.
Minus the tang.
I imagine.
I imagine, yeah.
It's not that much fun. Meaning, it's uncomfortable to go to the restroom.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you have to go number 2.
Actually, I think using the restroom in a diaper is probably the most comfortable.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Just let it go.
But it's not as.
But then you got to sit in it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Imagine you're doing your research with all these doctors around you, and you went to school and you trained so hard, and you're like, got to change my diaper real quick because it's a mess.
Yeah, I'm a PhD, but I also poop my pants.
Yeah,
it is kind of strange.
That's funny to me.
Well, I wasn't aware of this, but this is pretty interesting. It says now scientists say they discovered a new way to capture astronauts' pee and recycle it into drinkable water, quote, within minutes. Nah, man, sorry, that ain't gonna fly for me. I don't care if it does take just a few minutes. Pretend. Make it not available for at least a couple hours. Because a couple of minutes, it's still got to be warm, man. That's nasty.
It just depends on what technology you got.
2 minutes afterwards? No, man, come on. That's nasty.
You never seen
it takes more time for urine to turn into potable water.
You never seen one of those can chillers?
I mean, Jesus probably took more than 2 minutes to turn the water into wine. I'm sure that took about a half hour.
You ever seen one of those can chillers?
Can chillers?
Yeah.
It's the things that spin?
Yeah, around ice.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Those work. But
I believe that was invented by an Aggie as well.
I don't doubt it. But
trying
it works.
to chill his Lone Star beer.
I mean, I like that guy. But it works.
Yeah.
Because I've used one.
Science.
And it's chill piss.
In 2 minutes, apparently. But it's not a matter of just chilling it. It's a matter of chilling it and then also making it unpiss. I don't know, man. Kind of crazy. Last week we talked about drinking.
Dude,
Yep.
Did you look up of course, if you're an astronaut, you have to have fancy words for diapers. Did you see what the diaper word is?
No.
It's a maximum absorbency garment.
A mag. These garments were first designed in the early 1980s to collect and store urine, enabling astronauts to, quote, go on the go. But given spacewalk times can take up to several hours, mags can leave astronauts physically uncomfortable and at the risk of skin irritation and infection. So I guess rather than just sitting in your funk, we're going to turn it into food and water. What could be better? What could be better? We were talking last week about drinking like sodas in space, Coke and Pepsi and all that stuff. It got me thinking a lot. I don't know why I was thinking about this, though, but do you think anyone's ever...
Have you looked at this new thing they developed for this pissing thing?
What do you mean?
How it works?
I mean, I'm assuming it's probably like a compression thing that goes onto your genitals.
It's another diaper.
It's a diaper that...
It's another diaper. So basically you wear it.
It's a vacuum pump diaper?
And when you start peeing, it senses... And there's a silicone cup beneath the wearer's genitalia, and it pushes it out through the diaper.
So the detection of pee switches on a vacuum pump that then draws the urine up into a filtration device
But it's all
carried
within
on
your
the
suit.
astronaut's back.
Yeah, it's all within.
It's just a big. It's the circle of life,
Oh, it's
baby.
like Dune, dude.
It is like Dune.
It's just like
except
Dune.
without the popcorn topper that you make love to.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could take that into space too. It says the filter measures about 15 inches, 38 centimeters. Is that big enough for you, Dick? Tall,
That's
9
pretty
inches.
remarkable. I would actually
9
wear
inches wide.
I would wear that during this show.
I would love for you to.
And I'd be
I'd be
like,
talking to you right now. You just see your face change. I'm like, you're doing it right now, aren't you? You're doing it right now.
Oh yeah. And guess what?
Yeah. And in 2 minutes, I'm going to be drinking
I'm gonna
that.
drink. Oh, that's great. Oh. You know what's so great about that too is there's gonna be a scenario where like John is the clumsy astronaut and he like didn't put it on right and he's like didn't even think about it and he's like, oh, it tastes kind of funny.
Wait, this was I put the cords in backwards.
Yeah,
Dang it!
this just tastes kind of funny. And then like Susie over there, good looking Susie's like, hey, let me take a look at your suit, and she's like, John, you didn't apply the pump. You were literally drinking your own piss. Let's not tell anyone about this, please.
It's always the mundane details. I always forget the mundane
And just
details.
drinking oh no, what'd be great is when you actually land.
But the joke,
they get off the station, so for like 6 weeks he's been drinking.
yeah, right. But the joke's on you. I didn't have to wait 2 minutes. Instant right there.
Yeah, John, I'm sorry to tell you this, but this thing's been broken
So
for like the entire trip.
Do you think, getting back to John and Susie there, do you think anybody has ever had sex in space? Sex relations in space?
Well, I know if I was up there, I'd be like, can we just do it just so I could say I did it?
I mean, I'm sure it's happened, right? It would had to have. They study all kinds of things in space. But my thing is, like, where does the stuff go? Does it, like, kind of float around?
That's a great T-shirt. Where does the stuff go?
I mean, if you think about it, like,
I mean, to me,
you can't capture.
I guarantee, again, it's not a glorious lifestyle people think it is.
Because then, let's say one night you're drinking a little bit of Franzia box wine with your little astronaut lady friend up there. If things get a little funky, you guys end up having a relationship of the sexual kind. Stuff's floating around for the next 6 weeks on your trip, and you're reminded of that one night. Weeks
like
later,
about,
something kind of floats
something
by.
About
You're like,
Mary scenario.
Correct, but it's just floating around the space station the entire time.
Now I'm kind of curious about other things about your lifestyle, but
not my lifestyle. I'm not an astronaut.
But I mean, this is gross. We're not talking about this. I'm pretty sure they have done that just for.
But where does it go?
Where do you think it goes?
Well, never mind. A Texas man, we're going to stay on bathroom talk here. A Texas man set off explosions by booby-trapping bathrooms in businesses, police say. I don't get this, but a Texas man has
I was
has
wondering
been
when this was
accused,
going to happen.
right? Let this be a lesson to you, Dick. But a Texas man accused of booby-trapping toilets in the bathrooms of 2 car washes with, quote, pressurized activated fireworks.
We've all seen
What is
Lethal Weapon. I think it was Lethal Weapon 3. That was the opening scene.
I don't even know if
or
I saw
Mur-
Lethal Weapon 3.
when Murtaugh was like doing his old man morning routine, and the toilet paper says you go boom if you get up.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I
Yeah.
do remember saying that. Yeah, you're right. It's only a matter of time. Well, this guy was 46 years old, or is. Paul Moses Alden, 46, was arrested on August 1st. I imagine he's right in that wheelhouse of watching Lethal Weapon 3. I just don't understand what the payoff is. And they caught him because this is a car wash that he frequents all the time. So they've got him on camera going into the bathroom, and then afterwards he would come back out and just sit in the waiting room and listen for the explosion.
See, I always
What a freak!
okay. I will say I have thought about something in the same realm as this, where I like to play practical jokes, and like for example, there's in downtown Conroe, there are these art benches, and some of them are themed. And if people didn't know, Conroe used to be a big train town. Like this is where like the first stop for a lot
Your
of stuff.
favorite. This is why you hang out here.
Well,
you and your love for trains.
Well, there's a train bench design, and then like some of them are really cool looking. And I was like, how funny it would be if you put a pressurized sensor on that, and you sit on it, and after like if you sit on it for more than a minute, you install a train horn under the seat, and it just blows. Because train horns are tight. And by the way, they're illegal to have. I found that one out because I had one, and you can't have one. Just to let you know.
Yeah, because I'm wondering, yes.
I bought a train horn. And you're not allowed to do that. And what was great, though, I was like, that'd be so funny. That would get people all the time. And now I'm thinking, I need to start thinking about toilets.
You could be doing 5 to 10, because I'm sure that's against the law.
Well, no, I wouldn't put firecrackers. Probably what I would do is like freak people out, put like snake noises or something, because that's like a fear of mine, is snakes coming through the septic system. And there's been reports, depending on what kind of flooding's been going on around town and where you live. You can do like a snake noise, or you can do like the dropping noise.
You've thought about this way too much.
And people are like, well, I didn't drop anything.
Like change,
Yeah.
falling out of your pocket.
What do you think drops in the toilet? That's what you do.
But you're not on the toilet. I thought you were at the train stop.
This is how it signals. Like when you're sitting.
Okay, so you're saying
it
now
starts
at the
starts the prank.
We are going off
That
the
would
rails
be
on a
hilarious.
crazy train.
That would be hilarious because everyone would be like, I didn't drop anything, and they're looking around like, what's happening? I think what other cool noises would you do? Freak people out.
I don't know. I've been thinking about the fireworks though. Would I use like an M80 or would I just go regular old black cat? Because M80s, that'd do some damage. But the point is, are you trying to actually harm somebody, or are you just wanting to get a
I would
prank?
have done the doggy doo doo firework.
Or the doggy doo-doo.
Have you never seen the doggy doo doo firework?
No.
Are you serious?
No, I guess yeah. I mean, you could probably do Roman candle. That'd be kind of funny, but you got to think your nether regions are exposed.
I can't believe you've never seen the doggy doo doo firework.
No, I'm an adult. I probably haven't purchased fireworks
Let's see.
in quite some
I
time.
found one. Here,
Okay,
I'll play the video.
Show the onesie video of doggy doo-doo
I can't believe
fireworks.
you've never seen this.
Oh, okay. So onesies again. If you're just listening, it is a dog sitting on top of looks like an M80 with the what do you call that? The wick.
The wick's coming out.
Out of his rear end. It looks like he's trying to drop it in a bathroom.
Yeah, this
And-
is a firework, man.
Oh wait, and it just kind of slithers out like a snake, doesn't it? I think I've seen this.
Well, don't ruin it.
Yeah,
They got
so-
fire.
Yeah, no, I have seen this. I have.
Oh man.
Yeah, and it. Oh my God.
Oh
Yes,
man.
Good God. Yes, I have seen that. My bad. All right, guys, it's pretty good
Look,
time
it's still going, dude.
That dog's
Then
healthy.
it pops.
Oh, and then he fell over.
Classic.
He's exhausted. All right, guys, it's a pretty good time to take a break. When we come back, we are going to talk about Hello Kitty and an astonishing revelation about her. Audience One
She
Show.
doo-doos.
Car enthusiasts of Conroe, FM 104.5 and 106.1 Lone Star Community Radio invites you to shift into gear every Monday from 1 to 2 with Cruising Car Club Talk with Robert and Randy for news on all things automotive in the greater Houston-Conroe area. Can't make a live show? We've got you covered. You can find all of our uncut content, including full episodes on Spotify, iTunes, Play Store, YouTube, Facebook, and irlonestar.com. Again, that's Mondays 1 to 2, Cruising Car Club Talk with Robert and Randy. See you there.
All right, audience of one. We're back after that short little break. We're here every Wednesday at 10 a.m. on Lone Star Community Radio. Just look up Lone Star Community Radio, our audience of one show. We're on podcast, YouTube, Facebook. You can always submit your questions or funny articles you find to audienceofoneshow@gmail.com. That's audienceofoneshow@gmail.com. And we're back. So
We are back.
Yeah. One thing I kind of laugh about that passport picture because I don't know how often you have to renew your passport picture.
It's a good question.
Now it's gonna be there for a long time.
At least
for
a
me.
decade. I think it's probably every 10 years. I think that's how good a passport or how long a passport is good for.
But that's gonna be a great reminder if I shave my head or something. I'm like, well, and that can also have a good story to tell people. Like that's when I was in my dark times. I was smuggling diamonds.
Mm-hmm. Where were you smuggling them?
In my diaper.
Dick, have you ever been in a really fancy, nice hotel before?
Oh yeah.
And it's just the most glorious thing, isn't it? Everything is just wonderful. The linens are all nice, and it smells nice and everything. And it's a great experience, except for when you have to pay for it, right? And afterwards, you're paying for something that you've already enjoyed, and so the thrill is already over,
yeah,
you
I
know?
getcha.
And it's one of those feelings where you're like, ooh, $450 a night.
That's cheap.
Man, or maybe more. I don't know that I've ever paid
What kind of-
more than that.
What do you consider fancy?
Well, I don't know. I guess that's a relative term.
Yeah.
But I know that I've done the hotel stay before where I just feel bad because I spent so much money. I'm like, I'm not doing this again. And so I went the opposite way. Have you ever stayed at a really cheap hotel?
Oh yeah.
It sounds like a good idea at the time, right?
No. It's
Because you're like, oh
gross.
man, look at this. I can get it for $78. This is wonderful. And you go in there and it's fine until it's time to go to sleep, right? And you start looking around. You're like, oh no. There's like a mystery stain on the sheets, or there's like a splatter on the wall. You're not sure about what it is. You don't want to run a black light over anything. And then you're like, oh my God, I'm never doing this again. So I'm just here to say that really paying for a hotel sucks no matter what. I remember the first time I saw, I guess I was a kid, the word continental breakfast. And I thought, oh wow, continental breakfast. What, it's international. What are they going to have, like Eggs Benedict? And I walk out there and it's like some sort of, I don't know, blueberry muffin and a scone. I'm like, oh, continental sucks. No wonder this was a cheap hotel. So that's a key word too. Continental breakfast usually means cheap hotel.
You already complaining about food? It's
Yeah, man.
Food, just grab it and go.
No. See, breakfast doesn't actually occur until the egg makes its appearance.
Oh,
And if it's not there, not really breakfast.
yeah.
I hate paying for hotels, man, but I have had some pretty nasty ones before.
I believe it.
I actually had one that was so bad, I literally got my shirt out of my suitcase and put it over the pillow to sleep on my shirt rather than actually touching the pillow because it was,
okay.
it was gross.
Okay. Cool.
Gross. Yeah, man. As teased, Dick, were you aware that Hello Kitty is not actually a cat? And do you know what Hello Kitty is? This is that little play.
Yeah, it's some child thing, right? It's like a cartoon.
Yeah, it's a cartoon, and it's like a stuffed animal, and they
Yeah.
make little characters out of it. Well, I thought that this kind of caught my eye.
Was
but
it originally a cartoon tune, like a magazine, like a comic book cartoon, or was it?
I don't
like
think
a
it was.
show?
I don't think it was ever a comic book.
It was just kind of like, hey, we made a cute kitty. Buy the sticker.
I think it was a cartoon and a toy.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, well, the Japanese company Sanrio is setting the record straight about their beloved character, Hello Kitty, that it is not actually a cat. She's actually a little girl born and raised in the suburbs of London. She has a mom and a dad and a twin sister named Minnie, who is also her best friend. She enjoys baking, cookies, and making new friends. I don't get this, man.
I don't know. The
What's-
Wikipedia says it's a cat.
Right. And I look at the picture of this thing and I'm like, that's a cat. It's got whiskers. And what's the point of doing this? Coming out, I think they came out on the Today Show. The director of retail business development, Jill Cook, made that surprising revelation ahead of Hello Kitty's 50th anniversary during the Today Show segment that first aired back in July. And I just don't understand this. And I guess it's for one thing, sales, right? They're just trying to stir up something new about a 50-year-old character. What's so crazy, Dick? What's going on?
So in 1974,
Uh-huh.
the first item with Hello Kitty was created. It was a vinyl coin purse.
Correct.
So it was a purse.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's still one of their popular items.
And
Little accessories.
they made different accessories, little knickknacks, but there wasn't a cartoon, right? And then by 2010, the character was worth $5 billion.
Good God. But not a cat. No, it's a little girl who lives in the London suburbs. Dude, that's a cat. That does not look like a human being at all.
But apparently there's a cultural movement in the 90s called kawaii, and it's a culture thing. So that's why it became popular to like have it on your shirt and on your purse or whatever. Mm-hmm. So there you go.
Interesting. What was the word that you used a couple of episodes ago when we were talking about the first death in an automobile, and you said that he like stepped out of a trolley car, he enlightened or something like that? Yeah. And it got me thinking about there are certain words that I wish I used more of, like certainly enlightened would be one of them. Because I think if you've got a certain level of vocabulary, people just assume that you're really, really smart.
Yeah,
you know?
Of course.
And I wrote down a couple of words that I wish I said more often. Okay. The first one is ephemeral.
Ephemeral?
Yeah. It means a short period of time or not lasting very long. So much like you on a date, ephemeral. Yeah.
Farm to table.
Farm to table, exactly. Yeah.
You.
But I think that word is something I need to, because I'll hear people say that. I'm like, ephemeral, and then I quickly have to look it up. The other one is ingress and egress. I hear this one often, and I'm like, what is that again? Ingress and egress. It just means coming and going, in and out. But it's a fancy way of saying in and out. Ingress and egress. The other one, or another one, Machiavellian. I swear I hear this, and every time I hear it, I look it up and then immediately forget what it is. And then when I hear someone use it in conversation, I'm always like, oh, yeah, Machiavellian.
Isn't that like basically a time period that a certain type of...
Well, I looked it up, and wouldn't you know, I've already forgotten. No, it has something to do with like Italian politics, I believe.
Yeah.
Machiavelli was a person who had a certain set of ideals, I guess, but I always just kind of shake my head. Ah, yes, Machiavellian. So I'm going to start dropping those in our shows just to see.
I'll still ignore it.
All right.
True.
All right.
I'm already
fine.
looking forward to those moments.
Interesting. Do you want to play?
Time loss. What'd you say?
Did you want to play the Democracy Manifest after the 55-minute mark, or do you not care?
Well,
by the way,
after the which one is it?
The Democracy Manifest, and what I mean there is the succulent Chinese meal clip.
Well, it's only a minute.
Yes, the minute.
You said 55
No,
minutes.
after 55-minute mark on the show, Dick. I'm saying, do you want to wait?
Oh. No, it'll be fine.
Okay. Well, back in 1991, an Australian news reporter named Chris Reason was arrested while at a Chinese restaurant, largely due to a misidentification. I guess the police were doing a sting operation to catch some sort of... like a criminal of some sort, a man for hire kind of thing. And it was a case of mistaken identity, and they pulled this guy out of a restaurant. And, of course, the news reporters were there rolling on it and caught this amazing, wonderful audio that we've had now for 30 years. Go ahead and play it, Dick.
You just assured me that I could speak.
Sit down inside the car. We're not assuring anything. We're under arrest.
Look, I'm under what? Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest. Have a look at the headlock here. See that chap over there? Get your hand off my penis! This is the bloke who got me on the penis before. Get some cups. Why did you do this? Get some cups. For what reason? What is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal? Oh, that's a nice headlock, sir. Oh, yes. I see that you know your judo well. Good one. And you, sir, are you waiting to receive my limp penis? Now, get your hands off it.
That's pretty wild.
It is wild, and I said that the guy's name was Chris Reason. That was the guy who actually published the video segment on The Guardian. But it's crazy. So apparently this guy was just a local thespian, and his name was not really released until many, many years later as Jack Carlson. And he's a local thespian, just kind of made the most of this moment, as you can imagine. Well, this man just recently passed away, and so he was in the news again. I had heard this segment, or this clip, a long time ago, many years ago, when it was probably first uploaded to the internet, probably circa 2010 or something. But I had forgotten about it. Well, It made the rounds again.
Yeah.
Popped up in the news. I said, oh, yeah, I got to play this. Hamming it up. I'd like to think you would do something very, very similar if arrested a mistaken identity. Get your hands off of my penis.
Someone certainly knows their judo.
That's quite an impressive headlock, sir.
No, actually, I can't wait. My favorite line is like, "Are you there to receive? Are you waiting to receive my?" Yeah. Now, this was used in a music video for like some Australian group. But so was he innocent?
Yes, completely innocent. So when they took him into the jail there in Australia, it was only a matter of minutes before they realized they had the wrong guy and they just let him go. I mean, it was clearly just a case of mistaken identity, but we were able to get this jewel of a clip of.
So he wasn't
audio.
wrong.
No, he was democracy manifest. Yeah, love it, man. Are you aware, Dick, of what the Wilford Brimley line is? And I don't think we've talked about this on the show, and if we have onesies, then we're just going to talk about it again.
Yeah, go for it.
But the Brimley cocoon line is an age at which other celebrities are judged by, because that is the age 18,530 days old, or roughly 50 years old, was the age Wilford Brimley was when he recorded the movie Cocoon in 1985, where he was playing an octogenarian, essentially. They were trying to find like the fountain of youth, to something like to extend time forever or something like that, to stay youthful. Well, this Wilford Brimley line compares what people now look like who are 50 compared to what Wilford Brimley looked like. And it's pretty crazy. The one that back from 2019, Paul Rudd, who obviously this guy is basically seen as the ageless Paul Rudd these days, what he looks like compared to Wilford Brimley. And I have to admit, the dude, if you're showing the picture there, at 50 does appear to be 80 some odd years old. And this came up in my consciousness again because, Kamala Harris had just announced her vice president pick. And I think he's the same age as Brad Pitt, but looks significantly older. And I was like, oh, yeah, this is one of those things. This is the Brimley line all over again. People just age a little differently these days, I think. But yeah, what did you think of the movie Cocoon? You ever seen that?
No, but it got me thinking. I still don't really understand what it's trying to tell me. What are you trying to tell me?
Just basically, when you see a celebrity, you're like, oh, wow, he looks really good. Wow, he's actually the same age Wilford Brimley was in the movie Cocoon. That's the whole point of it.
Okay.
That essentially people don't look the same age anymore, and Wilford Brimley looked shockingly old for his age.
Yeah, okay.
Selling oats and making sure you don't get diabetes. Remember those commercials? Diabetes.
Yeah, because there's a calculator on the internet, and I could put in my birthday.
Correct.
And it says my line's going to be February 26, 2037.
So at 2037, you will have hit the same age Wilford Brimley was in the movie Cocoon.
Okay, I thought because he lived forever, there was like an age thing.
No. It's a funny gag that you can.
So I'll just be 57.
There you go. Is it 57?
I don't know.
It says Selma Hayek crossed the line probably 5 years ago. Obviously, she's still got it going on. Arnold Schwarzenegger crossed the line 20 some odd years ago, and he still doesn't look as old as Wilford Brimley does now.
Oh,
yeah, kind of cool. All right, I kind of teased this earlier about a passport, since you got your passport or your
All right, I
in the
hope
process
I
of
get
getting
it. They're gonna find me.
Right. Well, a young girl 6 years old was refused a passport because she is named after a Game of Thrones character.
Really?
Yeah, this is pretty interesting. Lucy from Swindon explained that she was left devastated after her 6-year-old's passport application was rejected due to her unique title. What do you think her name was?
Lord Tyrion.
Tyrion? I mean, they're probably kind of the same height, I would imagine, right? No, Khaleesi. She named her daughter Khaleesi.
What's wrong with that?
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with it, and I think that was fairly popular thing to do years ago when that show was running. I know that Game of Thrones names were becoming popular, and Khaleesi was one of those names. But it is kind of an odd thing to name your daughter if you think about the character and all the things that she went through and did. But whatever. That's the one that Emilia Clarke played, by the way, if you haven't seen that movie. But it says this, the government, where did I lost it now? There was a line here, but the government does not essentially allow names to be absconded in that way. And I think they countersued and said, basically, no, you can't have a monopoly over a name. And I think they're still in litigation over
Well, because
it.
I remember we talked about having certain
Vamp,
names that
I
are
gotta find it.
banned in certain countries.
What's that?
Like I remember we were talking about birth certificates and names being banned in certain countries.
Okay. Yeah.
But this-
we have done that.
But this is the kids
so
are already
here
named.
it is. It says officials said they were unable to issue a passport unless Warner Brothers gave them permission.
That's awesome.
As the film studio owns the name's trademark, prompting Lucy to seek legal advice after receiving that response. So basically, the lawyers are like, no, Warner Brothers can't own a name. You can't trademark a name like that. Her solicitors later informed her that the passport office had got the wrong end of the stick because the trademark only applies to goods and services rather than the person's name. Do you think you're going to have any issues with your name, Dick?
Mickey Mouse?
No, one Richard. You know what? Richard Schisler. It kind of sounds to me like the name of a famous person before they got famous, right? And they changed their name. Oh, yeah, like Brad Pitt. Well, for example, did you know Brad Pitt's real name is Richard Schisler? No. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, I like it.
Just kidding, man.
Can't wait to get famous.
Isn't there a price in there somewhere, too?
You know what I'd be doing every day if I was famous? I'm like, you look ready to receive my...
Jeez.
Can you imagine saying that?
No, I couldn't, Dick. And
What are you doing in there? You look like you're ready to receive my... That's great. That's going to be a
Ding next.
classic line.
Ding next. Dick, I love loopholes, and I think this is one of these ultimate ones that I run across every now and again. But a Japanese restaurant says that they're not charging tourists anymore for food. They're just charging locals less.
What?
It says, kudos to you if you can speak perfect Japanese and order food at a
I get it
neighborhood
now.
sushi
I
bar
like it.
in Tokyo. Because if you can, chances are that your next trip to Japan, you may be able to score a better deal by blending in as a local. That's all you got to do, Dick, is just blend in as a Japanese local.
I would definitely pretty boy it up in Japan. Or
Careful,
Dante boy.
The elders are listening.
Yeah.
The elders are listening. But I didn't realize this, but apparently Japan has been known for hiking up prices for foreigners forever. Again, I've never been over there.
I believe it.
But but when called upon it, their response was, no. We just offer the food for less for locals. Loophole.
Yeah. I mean, that makes total sense to me.
It does. You know, we offer this show free to locals here. But
You
if
can
you're from out of
donate.
town-
You can donate.
You sure can.
IrelandStar.com/yeah.
Yeah.
It's AOO.
Is it now?
It is.
People say it's discrimination, but it's really hard for us to serve foreigners, and it is beyond our capacity.
I like it. I mean, they can do whatever they want. Who cares?
He maintains that he doesn't charge tourists extra. Instead, he offers a 1,000 yen, or $6.50 discount to locals. Oh, my God. That is really, really funny, man. Did you hear the news? And the Russians are back at it because they can't cheat at the Olympics because they're banned from playing. That a Russian chess player was suspended after allegedly poisoning her rival.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I
this
like
is
it.
this is pretty cool. And if you see the picture I put there in the run sheet, you can see this woman. Doesn't look like a woman I would say would play chess. I'm just gonna throw that out there. If I saw her, I wouldn't peg her as a chess player. I'm just gonna say that.
What's her nickname? She got a cool nickname now? Does she try to poison somebody? Her Black Widow or...
Well, I know her name is Amina Abakarova, a 40-year-old chess coach from, oh my God, some other place in the Republic of Russia, is being accused of trying to poison her rival, a 30-year-old, blah, blah, blah. I can't pronounce these names. But it's pretty interesting. So apparently she is seen on the security camera going over there and putting poison, like mercury, bloop, 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 dropping mercury powder or whatever on her opponent's chess pieces. And I think just moments before that, she could be overheard asking someone if there were security cameras. I'm just curious. Are there any security cameras around here? I just want to know. Someone replied, no, but of course there was. She walks gingerly over like no one's looking, pulls something out of her purse, sprinkles it onto the chessboard. Hours later, when they were playing her match, her opponent starts to feel weak, starts to feel a little sick to her stomach, says that they noticed little mercury like pellets kind of falling off the desk and into her lap.
Dang.
And yeah.
Got her.
Got her, man. Got her. What's wrong with these Russians, man?
I think that's just a
It's
mom.
Just, it's just in the culture, I guess.
I think that's just a mom.
What? What does that have to do with it?
Moms will do whatever for their kids.
How do you know this woman's a mom?
Is she participating? I thought she was the coach.
I think she's a coach, but
Yeah, so she's
but she's also a player, though.
yeah.
I mean, I think she's both, right? She's got to be both.
Hey man, don't hate the player.
I don't know. Did you show the video though?
Yeah, I did. You can see her going like sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle.
Yep. Her opponent, sprinkle, 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 was feeling unwell 30 minutes. Man, that doesn't take very long. I don't know. What links would you go to win a chess match, man? This seems like, I don't know.
I mean, if there was something better going on, I would just forfeit.
Is
and
chess
like,
going to be in the
"Yo."
Olympics? by the
Probably
way?
not.
You don't think they're athletes?
Nah. I don't know. I'm just saying probably not. I think it should be. I think that'd be great.
You think?
Yeah, I think we should get the most boring sports.
I think they should combine breakdancing and chess.
Yeah.
And you got to do a little move before you
You
make
have
your
to-
move. You know what I'm saying, dog?
No, when you're waiting your turn, you have to keep dancing. And you can't stop.
can't stop.
You can't stop. That'd be great. People would be like hopped up on Adderall doing that stuff.
Oh my God, it's funny. It's funny. An Ohio court rules that so-called boneless chicken wings can, in fact, contain bones. We're running out of news, man. I think that's the problem.
No, I mean that. I always wondered about that because the way they mass produce all that stuff.
Yeah, and I think this is probably not a new thing, but it's one of these USA Today titles that caught my eye. But when it comes to what's considered boneless chicken wings, there is now a legal precedent in a 4-3 ruling. The Ohio Supreme Court ruled that when ordering boneless chicken wings, a presence of bone fragments should not be unexpected.
Yeah, I like it.
You ever had that happen in your nug as you're biting down? You're like, oh, what's that? A piece of...
Yeah, when I eat
Little
French
piece of something.
fries, I'm like, what are those French?
Wait, what?
You expect a little bit of French people in it. You're eating French fries.
That's stupid.
Duh.
I hate that. Anytime you catch something that's not supposed to be in your food, you know, like I said, a bone or a little piece of hair or something.
That doesn't bother me. The worst thing is like if something, like the bone thing I could get because you're like, oh, it's soft. I'm eating it, and then it like cracks your teeth. Like, oh, dang it.
Well, according to the court, given that bones are a part of the chicken, there is no reason not to expect parts of them showing up when ordering so-called, quote, boneless wings, which are, of course, generally just chunks of meat from the breast and other parts of the chicken. I know that you like chickens quite a bit, so I figured this story would be right.
Especially the
up.
breasts.
Yeah, I know you really like the chicken
I like
breast.
chicken breasts.
Yeah, I know you do. Buddy.
I'm really hungry.
Are you?
Yeah, I haven't eaten today.
When I was in Las Vegas the other day, or a couple weeks ago, I saw something that I hadn't seen, at least not that I'm aware of. And it was a casino employee playing at the casino. And I knew he was an employee because I had seen him. He was like a pit boss.
Yeah.
And he was walking around, and so I could see his face. And then later that week, I saw him sitting down at like a video poker playing. And I thought, that's kind of strange. I'm sure it's happened before, but I just wasn't aware of it.
Was it in the same hotel?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it made me think, like, I guess that's legal to do so. Maybe he's not allowed to play the table games. That's why he was playing video poker. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it is kind of a strange thing if you think about it. It's probably the only job where you get your paycheck and then feel perfectly comfortable just giving it right back to him. Let's be honest.
Or he knows the end, and he's like, I've been watching this machine. It's got to pay out.
That's true. That's another reason why I didn't think they were really allowed to do it, because if he does win a big jackpot, then it looks like it's collusion, you know? Oh, yeah, of course, you knew, unless he was just, he was in there testing the machine.
Yeah,
Maybe that's
who
what it
knows?
was. Although he did appear to have a cocktail in his hand. Dick, have you ever been to the opera before?
Mm-hmm.
Of course you have. You like it?
Yeah.
I don't think I quite understand it.
Well, see, if you go, depending on which house you go to, they'll have subtitles. It's kind of wild.
That is wild.
It's kind of wild.
Because to me, without those subtitles, after about 2 minutes, haven't you kind of seen the whole thing already?
No.
I mean, you don't know what they're saying, so it's all just based on their emotion. It's just
No,
kind of...
usually it's kind of like some old story where like, oh, this young girl was misunderstood and the guy loves her, but he's, betrothed to another. And then they sing about it. But yeah, that's kind of it. It's fun.
I don't know.
Especially if you're cooked.
I just feel like if I wanted to have somebody in front of me telling me something that I didn't understand, I'd just go back to an algebra class in high school.
Yeah.
I don't need somebody speaking in some foreign language and telling me something I don't know. I don't know. I just don't get it, I guess. But I've never
watching
been.
ballet. You ever watch ballet, like up close?
Yeah, I suppose I have. Yeah.
It's really like, it's a little extreme.
Okay. Do explain.
Well, like watching them do those things, you're like, oh, wow. Like if you're real up close, you're like, that looks insane.
Because you can see up their dress, or what are you saying?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. You said extreme up close. What are you doing? Are you on the stage with them? Get off.
Well, like if you're watching it from like in an amphitheater in the nosebleeds, you don't really get the full like, oh, they're really throwing their bodies.
They're athletes.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Why isn't ballet in the Olympics?
That's what I was wondering. After watching them breaking, I was like, well, might as well just have ballet because that's actually like people work their entire lives for.
Yeah, true that. But I do like live theater, so I'm imagining that if I went to an opera, I might like it.
Okay, so I know this is our last episode talking about the Olympics, but I had this thought because I was watching the skateboarding, and there was like a 55-year-old participating, and then
in breakdancing?
No, in skateboarding.
Oh, okay.
And then not even an hour before, there was a 14-year-old Brazilian girl who won a gold. A 14-year-old. So I'm thinking, like, what other sports have this huge age gap? And then we take it serious.
Yeah, it is kind of funny.
So,
yeah, I can't think of one. But the Olympics tends to do that.
Because the breaking had the same thing. Like, I think that woman from Australia was in her upper 30s, mid 40s.
No. She was mid 30s. Yeah, mid 30s.
Yeah, and then
also was a PhD professor and had written some PhD white paper on breakdancing, the art of break. She teaches like breakdancing, the art or the theory of dancing and culture.
They just do it different and down under.
Yeah, they do it not very well, apparently.
Well, the toilet goes the other way, dude. What do you think? Her brain's scrambled. No, but no, I was thinking about that with Olympic sports. It's like, I wonder what other sports are, like the ages can be so drastic. And then yet it could be like, is that 55-year-old dude, like it was funny watching him because it just reminds me of watching anyone who's not a good skater compared to like who's actually performing there, because some of those people are really good. And then you see this guy, it's like.
Yeah. Well, like you said, there's a large difference in skill level at the Olympics. And it's crazy because just to get to the Olympics, you got to be pretty good. Kind of the thing. Kind of the point.
Okay, this would be hilarious to me if there was, like, say you're a rich dude or a rich girl, whatever.
Uh-huh.
And you live in a country that isn't heavily populated, so they're not going to be participating in all the sports. And you're like, hey, I want to go skateboarding. I'll pay my way.
You're right. The sport does have to be something that is participated in around the world mostly, so that most of the countries
because
have
I imagine
a chance.
Small countries don't participate in every single event.
No, you're right. They don't. Sometimes they only send a handful of athletes, but you're right.
But I also know there's a qualification on certain sports, like especially in the more competitive ones, like swimming. Like there is an actual qualification.
Absolutely. They've got to go through World Games
to get that. But like
Olympic
skateboarding, I don't
qualifiers.
know, because I was like, how's this 55-year-old there? And then the breaking again. I feel like every person in the country was like, hey, we just go do this.
Yeah. Who wants to do this?
Yeah. I wonder what sport would be out there. And he'd be like, hey, we want to...
Maybe it was a radio contest. Be the 9th caller. You get to go to the Olympics and breakdance.
What sport would you want to do?
Oh, man.
Okay, you know what I would love to watch you do? Is anything in the track and field. Like, if anything, if it's the decathlon or whatever, that would be great to see you throw, like, a javelin and then to see you run. And then, especially if there's hurdles involved, that would be the best thing ever.
At one time, I did participate in track and field.
High jump would be great.
I did high jump as well. I just didn't jump very high.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad that just the image of me participating in track and field brings you much joy.
I would do sumo wrestling, hands down.
I wouldn't, because I get crushed.
It would be so much fun.
Just be like you and your camp counselor again.
Yeah, I would just jump at the guy and scream really loud.
Just toss you around like a rag doll.
Just start screaming.
Put you in between one of the folds and just kind of sitting on you.
Yeah.
Maybe I would want to see that, actually.
Fencing would be
Fencing's...
I make it look like you're cat fighting.
You know, I did spend a little time watching synchronized swimming.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It actually is pretty impressive because they can never touch the bottom, and they're throwing these girls around, somehow getting enough strength to pitch these girls up while treading water. Essentially, it is really, really impressive. So,
But I'm excited about baseball next 2028. It's going to be pretty good.
Whatever. All right, man, it is about time for the quick hit here at the end of the show. Dick, are you aware of what the bystander effect is? The bystander effect occurs when the presence of others discourages an individual from intervening in an emergency situation. So this is one of these things where you see something happen and there's a lot of people around, you're like, somebody else will handle it.
Okay.
I'm sure somebody else is already going to go help that guy. I'm just going to keep
Did you just
right
hear
on moving.
someone scream bloody murder?
Yeah.
Maybe.
But it is kind of one of those things. Have you ever heard someone like scream, ah? You think, that could not have been good.
Well,
And then you just keep minding your own business.
I will be honest. I was on the highway and I witnessed like a serious crash in front of me, and I just went around.
I don't believe that's the way you're supposed to do, though.
Well, I'm going like 70 miles an hour, and by the time you dodge it, you get out of the way. I'm talking about like right when you see it. I'm not talking like, it's not like you're rubbernecking.
You had to put your beer down. You flipped your smoke out the window. You're
and
like,
I was like,
I'm just going to
that
keep
looked
going.
crazy. And then
Yeah.
I was like, keep
There's
going.
others. Others will handle it. Well, the greater the number of bystanders, the less likely it is for any one of them to provide help to a person in distress. People are more likely to take action in crisis when there are few or no other witnesses present. Kind of an interesting psychological thing that we all do. Wasn't that the very end of the Seinfeld series, right? They witnessed a crime and they didn't do anything about it and they got charged and all put in jail? Yeah, because they were just like, somebody else is probably going to handle it. That is the bystander effect. All right, Dick, man, that's all we got time for this week, buddy. This was a fun show, man.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I'm sad that the Olympics are gone.
We got baseball, dog.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, Rangers suck. All right, you're listening to Audience of One. I just like saying that to you. Audience
You're
of
so
One,
sad.
every
So
Wednesday, 10 a.m. Audience of One show at gmail.com for all of your cool articles you find or comments about each episode. And
Yeah, tell us how bad we are. We really don't even care about that either.
Yeah, tell me how much better I am.
Then what?
Than everyone else.
That'd be the Wilford Brimley line for the show, right? The Dick Schisler
Is he
line.
a turd?
Is he above or below the Dick Schisler line?
Yeah. All right, guys. I'll see you later, Andrew.
Bye, man.